Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Yes, it's a great book, and I'm not Waterstones, and I'm definitely not a book reviewer. But that book speaks about how there's an orphan named Pip, and how he's given great expectations to become a great gentleman. And I guess you could say the same for Manchester United in terms of great expectations. After the retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson, there's been a host of quality players come through the doors at Carrington with huge price tags, huge potential, and many of them failing to live up to the expectations of them restoring Manchester United back to the glory days. Juan Mata, Angel Di Maria, Radamel Falcao, Memphis Depay, Paul Pogba, Alexis Sanchez, Donny van de Beek, and of course, Jadon Sancho. Players with big hopes and big price tags have came, seen, and fortunately not conquered, because they're not Julius Caesar. And unfortunately, the curious case of Jadon Sancho might be another one to add onto that. But do you think he is to blame? Or do you think there are wider implications that need to be addressed? Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Sani-That sports guy, talking all things sport. And of course, today, we're talking football, in specific Manchester United, about why players underachieve at Manchester United, and in particular, the curious case of Jadon Sancho. Because as we all know, Jadon Sancho will be going on loan back to his former club, Borussia Dortmund. It hasn't really worked out at Manchester United. There's no permanent clause for Dortmund to buy on that deal, so maybe the door is open for Jadon Sancho to eventually return at Manchester United. But let's find out as to why it didn't really work out for Jadon Sancho. We need to talk about structure. Now, I'm not talking about a point, evidence, explain, link paragraph, for example, when it comes to structure. I'm talking about structure at a football club. For the most part, during Sancho's tenure at Dortmund, he only really had Lucien Favre as manager, with Terzic coming at the end of his tenure. If you compare this to Manchester United, he's had Ollie, he's had Ralf Rangnick, and he's had Erik ten Hag. Managers with different philosophies, different styles of play, different understanding, and different way to manage a person as well. You have one manager that comes in, knows you and knows your style of play and how you fit into his system. It's going to be conducive to both. At Dortmund, there wasn't really any turmoil. Yes, in his first season, there were a few sackings, but that was a season where Sancho wasn't really embedded into the team. He was only 17, and it was only in the seasons after Sancho's first is where you saw some stability. 18-19, he had 20 goals and 13 assists in 43 games. 19-20, he had 20 goals and 20 assists in 44 games. And in his last season at Dortmund, he had 16 goals and 20 assists in 38 games. Now, you're going to compare this to Manchester United stats, and you're going to think, oof, don't really shape it well. He only had a paltry 5 goals and 3 assists in 37 games in his first season. He only had 7 goals and 3 assists in 41 games last season, and he hasn't even started a game for us this season. And you might be thinking, oh, he's played more games for Man United. Clearly, it's a Sancho problem. But the one thing that needs to be addressed is how many times he actually started for both clubs. He started a hell of a lot more often for Dortmund. If you look how many minutes he's played and divide it by 90, although he might have played 41 games last season, he only managed 27 full 90 minutes. And if you compare that to his time in Dortmund, which in his last 3 seasons were 33, 36, and 33, it does show that he hasn't actually been given a fair shake. You also need quality players around you. When you have the likes of Achraf Hakimi and Rafael Guerreiro as your fullbacks, it's going to help you as a player. If you look at any successful winger in world football, a lot of the time they have a very good fullback to help them, because not only does he provide that overlap, but he also provides cover for you to bomb up the pitch and do what you do best, which is your magic. Now, I'm not saying Luke Shaw is an average fullback, but if you compare him to someone like Rafael Guerreiro, who's going to give you an attacking option 9 times out of 10, and also Achraf Hakimi, you know who you're going to choose if you're Jadon Sancho. That, coupled with the fact that Dortmund's style of play actually benefited Sancho, especially in transition, meant that his stats look amazing, and they were amazing. Playing with the likes of Royce and Holland not only benefited him, but benefited the team as a result as well. But with everything, it also does matter on application as well. I, for example, could go to the office, and I might have great structure there. I might have great people that I work with, but if I don't apply myself, how can I say I'm performing well in my job? And I think Sancho does need to take responsibility and accountability for this as well. There's been plenty of times I've gone to Old Trafford, especially last season, where I'd watch Sancho, and yes, although there wasn't support like he might have got at Dortmund, for example, and he was isolated, I did think maybe he could apply himself a little bit more. That's where I think he let himself down. Now, we all know the media haven't been fair on him with the character assassination that they've almost effectively done to him over the last couple of months. We all know the spats that he's had on Twitter and on social media with what Erik ten Hag's come out with as opposed to what he said. But the thing is, it's not the only time that this has happened. Emre Can, for example, at Dortmund also said that he wasn't the best when it came to training. Yes, I'm not saying training is where you see who your best players are. As we know, Eden Hazard wasn't the best trainer, but on the football pitch, he was amazing. But as we know, Eden Hazard applied himself on the football pitch. I don't think Jadon Sancho can say he's applied himself as much as an Eden Hazard did. You might not be the best trainer, but as long as you show up for the 90 minutes, that's all that matters. And I think that's what Jadon Sancho might have let himself down on. I don't think there's been times on the pitch where Jadon Sancho has left and thought, yeah, I played really well there. And that's where I think it comes down to Jadon Sancho. You need to be able to apply yourself. I don't think he's applied himself to the extent that he would be proud of, because he's a great player with so much to offer. But had he applied himself to that extent, I don't think Erik ten Hag can come out and give him the criticism that he's received. Yeah, fine, Erik ten Hag might show favouritism when it comes to players. You got Anthony, but if Sancho applied himself, I'm pretty sure Erik ten Hag would see him as one of his favourite. And then, of course, the other thing that comes to it as well is great expectations. I started speaking about this, and of course, great expectations, another one. Sancho had great expectations of himself coming to Manchester United, showing not only us, but also England as well, why he's such a great player. People thought, oh, it's the Bundesliga tax, for example, that he's only doing well at Dortmund. He also wanted to prove to his ex-employees as well, Manchester City, who are only down the road, that you should never have let him go. Not only did he have expectations and great expectations of himself, but also as fans also had great expectations as well. Not only because of the price tag, because of what we saw. We know what Jadon Sancho can bring to the table. We know what he done at Dortmund. And those expectations are what inevitably, I don't think, helped him at Manchester United, and why I think inevitably it didn't work out for him first time round. And the reason I'm saying first time round is, who knows? He's going on loan to Dortmund. He might smash it at Dortmund, come back, and Erik ten Hag might think, yeah, I'm going to give him another run out. And that's why I think we need to be patient. But these expectations, these great expectations, I think are the reason why we need to relax as fans as well. And that is on the likes of Rasmus Højlund, for example, Mason Mount, who've come in this season. These expectations are why inevitably players don't succeed at Manchester United. A lot of it does come to us fans, but a lot of it does come to the shirt as well. Man United's a huge club. You need to perform, because if you don't, you will be seen as a failure. And that's what I think inevitably didn't help Jadon Sancho as well. But let me know your thoughts on Jadon Sancho. Do you think it was his fault? Do you think it was Man United's fault? How do you see his loan working out at Dortmund as well? Do you think he has a route back to Manchester United? And also let me know, why do you think players underachieve at Manchester United? As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure to drop me a comment if you like this video. Drop me a message as well on Instagram if you want to speak more about this topic as well. And as always, until next time,